Hello, it's Nikki and welcome back. Today I am sharing a 5-parter, so do follow along and subscribe over the next few days. This is all about some big lessons that I have learnt over the last 25 years, but not just wanging on and, talking about how I clean my bathroom or anything like that. I have no hacks for you. These are things that you can take to your journal, you can take on a walk, you can consider in terms of your own business, your own personal brand, and I'm going to categorize them in a way that I usually do. So Monday is all about planning, Tuesday, pricing and packaging, Wednesday, all about your positioning in terms of your online presence and your digital disco. Thursday is all about presenting, visibility, speaking, and Friday is all about the personal. So 25 years ago, almost, September of this year, I moved to London and I went to drama school, and I did not know what those 3 years would have in store. They were some of my biggest, stretchiest times in all ways. I mean, I think 18 to 21 is quite a significant bracket of ages. Moving to London, being on a very intense emotional course, a long-term relationship, lots of things were happening in my personal life, in family life. When I look back, I think, wow, it was a lot. However, from that, I've not only had a career for 25 years, but I've got 6 really great pals. And 7 of us went away, not this weekend gone by, the one before, and really celebrated our 25-year relationship. And it was gorgeous and beautiful and thought-provoking and emotional and all of the things. So today I want to focus on the plan and really helping you to see the wood for the trees. It's really difficult sometimes, I find personally, to find that sweet spot of going for the big dreams, but also managing day-to-day life. Because sometimes when you're going for stuff, it's like, I'm going for it, I'm doing it, but how do I pay bills? How do I make it work? How do I know what to focus on, etc.? So here we go. Here is the planning section, and here are 5 things that have really helped me that I come back to again and again. And feel free to take notes, take them on a walk, and dig into what they mean to you. Number 1, the next door from where you are right now is the only door that you need to focus on, and to have the bravery to open it. There is such a narrative of perfection online. I want you to notice how often people talk about the perfect holiday, the perfect smoothie, the perfect way to start your day, the perfect tablescape, the perfect way to spend an afternoon. Perfect. And that is enormous to maintain and sustain. And what can often happen is that we are waiting subconsciously for perfection before we start. And when I moved to London at 18 and I started my career, essentially, because it wasn't one of those courses where you popped in, you were in 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. You would work all weekend to learn your lines, or it was a lot. It was full on. So from me being 18, I had to be all in. And yet, when I moved from a small town to the big smoke, I almost couldn't imagine what it would be like to become a professional person that got paid for this. But what I could do was be brave enough to open that front door, that first door, and go, right, I'm in, learn, figure it out, what's happening, what's in the room, get a sense of what's happening. And so if you are in that point at the beginning of this year where, yes, you've got all the big goals, the things that you want to do, and this year is going to be my year for X, Y, and Z, you have to start with the first thing. And you have to be brave enough and sometimes eager enough, because sometimes that first door is really boring. I wanted to almost skip that training and go, can I just I just want to get on set. Or I used to be like that in dance classes where I used to think, well, I just want to learn the routine at the end. And what you find is by doing all of the exercises, that's how you strengthen. That's how you get into the nitty gritty of it. That's why when you then come to do the routine, you're not going to get injured because you might be, but you're throwing yourself around, but it's based on strong foundations. So be brave about opening that first door. And remember, it's not all going to be fun. I know that sounds really negative, but it's not. So get used to it. I know that sounds harsh, but honestly, when people talk about this thing like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing, it's not all of the time. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's grueling and boring and repetitive, and you just have to do it. Number 2, your dreams can only be as big as your belief. And it's really interesting when I have conversations with people. And I have to always tread carefully and really read the room and read the conversation. But do you know what I love doing? And I never push it on people. I'm never saying this is the thing that you need to do. But even if I meet a friend or I'm in a conversation at a wedding or a family do or whatever, and somebody says something, and I know that I can say, you could do it this way though. And again, I have to be really careful about how I say it. And sometimes people will look at me like, what? I never even thought that, what? Oh my God, I could. And sometimes you only know what you know. And so your belief system, your goals are built on what you believe about yourself and also what you believed in your vicinity. And there were so many times as a child where, and we didn't have the internet then, where suddenly I would see something on telly or overhear a conversation, or I don't know, go out for the day to a bigger city and look around, and I'd suddenly see something was possible. And then what happened then was my belief expanded. And we have such an opportunity now with podcasts, with people sharing stories, content, videos, the internet. Everybody is putting stuff out there. So if you're feeling that your dreams are a bit capped at the moment, or they're just not exciting you, open up your capacity, because as soon as you start to clock, it's possible that person did it, right. Or sometimes it's that moment of oh, she's a mum too, she's got 2 kids, oh, she's figured it out, right, there's something I can do here. That's always for me a sign to go, right, it's time to expand a little bit. Number 3, strategy, focus, feeling, adjust. It's almost like a little kind of hamster wheel. So having a strategy, having a plan of action, being intentional about what it is that you want. It's always been so key. And my pals have always talked about this when we were talking about each other. They've always said that I've been really good at this strategy, having a plan, making it happen, not just being like an airy fairy, chatty, one day I'm going to do this. I've always been somebody who puts an idea down and then goes for it. And sometimes that is long. It takes a long time to do it, but that's what it is. And the second part of that is really focusing on it. And especially in this world, sometimes we can feel like we have to be all the things to all the people here, there, and everywhere. And when my kids are at school, I am really focused on my work. If I'm having a working day. If I'm having a working day, I'm at my computer. I'm not doing other stuff. I'm not going, wow, well, let me just sort out the shed, unless I'm having a day that's sorting out the shed. Focusing on what it is that you want has to be a really key part of it. And I think so often, especially with these manifesting conversations, is people go, I'll just ask the universe for it. And it's like, great, the universe has heard your request, but the universe wants to know what you're doing next. And I think that as soon as you have to put that question back on yourself, then you can move forward. The third bit of that is about the feeling. And I think sometimes we might imagine that we want certain things, or we think things are going to go in a certain way, and then we get to it and we're in the action and actually it doesn't feel good, or it feels even better. So that leads on into the fourth part, which is the adjustment, really checking in every step of the way. And this is why the looks good on paper or just having a plan doesn't work long term. You have to feel it. This is why we have so many people who are like, yeah, I've ticked this box, I've ticked this box, and I've ticked this box, but I still feel rubbish. It has to feel really good. Number 4, really get to know what makes you feel good and do it often. Your dreams, your relationships, everything you want to welcome into your life, it's going to happen quicker if you can operate from a state of feeling good. And that's really difficult because everybody is operating with so many different challenges. And we all have those moments. I mean, some people have, a whole life of everything feel really difficult and challenging. And who am I to be like, yeah, just make your tea in a really beautiful way? I'm not going to do that. But for me, when I've had those really challenging parts of my life, I had to, or what worked for me was really taking action and going, okay, I need to put my phone down, or I need to prioritize sleep, because me not feeling very good on a continuous basis, it's going to be better if I have some kip and I can deal with all of those things in a much better way. Getting to know what makes you feel good. It is one of the greatest self-love acts that we can give ourselves, because it means that we go back to that sense of, okay, I'm operating from that place of feeling topped up and feeling really good. And number 5, intentionally spending time on your dreams. So often it's tempting to write it on a list or say it to a friend and then forget about it. And what we need to do is spend time with it. The same that you do with any kind of relationship or a friendship. You might have moments in friendships where you're like, I feel like we're just not connecting. And then when you look at when you were last together or the interactions that you've had, they might not have been of quality. And I am in a nearly 20-year relationship of my own. And we will have those moments of like, we need to go to the pub and have a glass of wine and a pint of beer and have a big chat and have a nice time and just not be parents for a while. I mean, obviously we're always going to be parents, but just that sense of reconnecting and spending time with your goals in that way is so, so important. Life is busy. Life is pulling you in all sorts of different directions. And life can be really noisy as well sometimes. So intentionally spending time. If you want to make some big plans, go over to the catch up. It's in my shop. It's a great way of really digging into some of your big dreams. Also, if this is your year to make something happen, come on over to my Work With Me page. There are a variety of ways that I can help and support you. Come on over and let's have a chat, and I'll see you very soon. Lots of love. Do subscribe. Bye.